Good morning, everybody. Hi, I'm Marjorie Daughtry with Cornell University down the road a piece. I work as an ornamentals pathologist, but I'm not an oak wilt specialist. And I found out recently I had some really good friends who were oak wilt specialists, and I'm very excited to have them here today to help you with learning about oak wilt. And my job is really to welcome the welcomers. Several layers of bureaucracy here, sorry. But mostly I just want to say that I think this group is super because we're bringing together the people who care about oaks as forest trees with people who care about oaks as ornaments in the landscape, and it's an unusual opportunity for us to all be together. So thanks for coming today, and I would like to welcome our first welcomer, Tim Green, who works here at the Brookhaven National Lab, which has graciously provided us with a place to gather. And he is the Natural and Cultural Resources Manager of the Environmental Protection Division. Tim, let's welcome him. Thank you.
So good morning, and welcome to Brookhaven National Laboratory. I get the duty of doing the safety message. Okay, so safety is our core responsibility here, so we do everything safe first and then go out and get the information that we gather for science and managing the laboratory. With that in mind, when you came in, you probably noticed signs, speed limit is 30 miles an hour. They will stop you if you're going over 30 miles an hour. Not like the rest of New York, we actually stop at stop signs. So you know, it's not stoptional, it's stop. And then a lot of our injuries are actually slips, trips, and falls. And if you haven't noticed, the laboratory is built on top of what was World War I and World War II Camp Upton. And we are replacing the World War II buildings. You'll notice new buildings around the laboratory. But some of the sidewalks continue to need repairs. So as you're walking around, we ask you, don't text and walk, but just walk and pay attention to where you're walking so that you pay attention to the surfaces that may not be as level as you would expect. We do a lot of exciting science here at the laboratory, but we also are sitting on 5,300 acres of pine barrens habitat. And so everything that we're talking about today has potential to impact us. And so we're happy to host these conferences because we learn as much as you learn, and then together we hopefully can manage some of the issues that's hitting our Long Island forests and the horticultural interests on Long Island. So we're really glad you're here. If we do have the fire alarm goes off, we ask you, there's an exit here, there's exit in the back, and then if we could just meet out in the parking lot to make sure that everybody's out of the building. Restrooms, if you haven't found them, if you're in the lobby, if you're looking at the stairway that goes up to the upper floors, there's a sign right there on the right, so the bathrooms are right there. Left, that's my other right. You go left around the little partition, and the men's is on the right, and there's a hallway to the left. There's women's is right there. So if you need restrooms, feel free to go out there, use the restrooms. And other than that, welcome and enjoy the conference.
Thanks, Tim. This place has taken the term microphone to an incredible degree. It's a teensy-weensy microphone. One of the groups that has been really helpful as we've been putting together this meeting has been the Central Pine Barrens Commission. They're definitely a partner in this gathering that we have here today. And we have the executive director of the commission here today, John Pavlicek. He'll wake up eventually.
No problem. Thank you very much, Marjorie. So good morning and welcome. It's great to see so many happy, smiling faces here today. I see a lot of colleagues and friends of mine that I've gotten to know over the years. So welcome today to this symposium. On behalf of Carrie, Meek, Gallagher, our Chairwoman, Commission Chairwoman, who is also the Regional Director of DEC Region 1, again, welcome to all our attendees today and our researchers and presenters. I want to express our gratitude for your attendance and participation in this event. Long Island has, and particularly Suffolk County, has experienced some significant ecological issues over the last 20 years. I guess some folks would argue we don't have a great deal of diversity, particularly in the pine barrens, with pine barrens being primarily pine and oak dominated. And those two major varieties of trees have experienced some significant issues over the last few years. First starting a number of years ago, you may recall that there were vast swaths of areas of oak trees that suffered some significant mortality. And then in more recent years, southern pine beetle affecting pitch pine. And then over the years, of course, gypsy moths. And going back further to the turn of the last century, the American chestnut, which used to be a frequent occurrence in the forests of Long Island. And so oak wilt certainly presents a more recent challenge and something that we are certainly concerned about because of the potential threat it has, particularly to the pine barrens and our oak trees. And with the stresses that our ecosystem is experiencing from this threat, we're certainly very appreciative of the fact that we have folks focusing on that right now. So I hope that you come away from this conference with renewed interest in helping to pursue more knowledge and understanding about this issue, and also in seeking some significant ways of remedying this issue so that we're able to maintain the health of our forests here on Long Island, particularly in the central pine barrens. So again, on behalf of the Commission and Carrie, Meek, Gallagher, welcome and thank you for your participation today. Thank you.
Okay, and now we have someone whose entire job is oak wilt. This is pretty amazing to imagine. But Jennifer Kotary is with the Department of Environmental Conservation in New York, and she is the Forest Health Oak Wilt Operations Coordinator. So Jennifer will speak to us now.
Hello, everybody, and welcome. On behalf of the New York State DEC, particularly the Bureau of Lands and Forests, I want to say thank you so much for coming. When we were putting this event together, Margie asked me to talk a little bit about our partnerships related to this topic, and I said, great, that's awesome. This is something that's very personal to me. As the operations coordinator, I get the joy of seeing all of the coordination and collaborative work that goes into New York's response. And so I've seen that particularly in this region. We found 4 infections last year in this region, and wow, was I amazed at the way people could mobilize here. We were able to put a task force together very quickly. 30 folks on that team meeting. We met 3 times, and we were also able to put together a partner meeting where we could explore better diagnostic techniques. So it's been a great pleasure, and I really appreciate all who have put in their effort to not only this meeting but handling oak wilt. And I think that the team here really is able to implement this theme that we're talking about of, moving beyond panic and having some tangible measures to respond to that. So thank you so much to our partners, and I just want to highlight particularly Marjorie Daughtry, our chair of the task force, has put in a ton of effort today. If we could give her a round of applause. And also Mina has put in a ton of, from Cornell, has put in a ton of effort. Very appreciative of that. And Polly, who is not here right now from the Central Pine Barrens Commission. But without further ado, I will also be your MC for today. So I just want to remind you, make sure that you please put your phones on silent. I think that'll make the talks go a lot smoother. Also, food is really important, right? At 10:15, we'll have a coffee break, and you can continue to be able to eat some food then. You know where the bathrooms are. We will have a question and answer period after all of the talks. So I'm sure speakers will handle their questions and answers as they see fit, but just know we will have a time period right at the end when you can ask questions if you need further clarification.